when we don't say something, we feel as though, oh, I'm keeping it a secret, or oh, why is it that other persons are willing to tell their business, and when it comes to me, it's almost like I feel like my mouth is being closed, and almost like I shouldn't share this, and then you kind of feel bad because you're just like, but if it happens now when people see me, and as typical Jamaican, even if you're not close with somebody, they come and be like to you, oh, how come you never tell me say XYZ did happen? Welcome, 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 welcome. Da 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 da. Welcome, 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 welcome. Da 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 da. Welcome, 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 welcome. Da 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 da. Welcome to a channel that has deep conversation, talks about life, talks about faith, and gives advice while all having fun. Let's go. What's good, yeah? So we're gonna have a little conversation about secrecy versus privacy. So I think initially when I wanted to do this topic, because I've had this topic down for a while, but I think initially when I wanted to do this topic, I was really geared towards like relationship and sometimes how people feel as though they're being hidden by their significant other because they're not being posted on their socials. Not a lot of people know about them. They just kind of feel like, oh, am I a secret? Why am I just feel like I'm in the background? Nobody knows about me. Not even a little hint as to the fact that, oh, we are talking, we're dating, or we're together. And I really want to talk about it in that aspect, but now I kind of have a broader aspect, and I might just dive into the relationship part a little later on another vlog, or maybe having its own video to itself. There are things that happen in our life, and for some of us, we feel the need to share it. We feel the need to tell our friends. We feel the need to tell our family members or some of our family members. And we get this kind of guilt when we don't say something. We feel as though, oh, I'm keeping it a secret, or oh, why is it that other persons are willing to tell their business, and when it comes to me, it's almost like I feel like my mouth is being closed, and almost like I shouldn't share this, and then you kind of feel bad because you're just like, but if it happens now when people see me, and as typical Jamaican, even if you're not close with somebody, they come and be like to you, oh, how come you never tell me say XYZ did happen, and XYZ and you get this opportunity and da 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 da. And in your head you're just like, one, we're not even that close, why do I need to be telling you that? Two, it's almost like, should I have told them? Especially when it comes to like family and friends. And you kind of weigh like, am I being secretive or am I just being private? Now, here are three ways for me personally to know if you're being secretive versus you being private. One, when you get good news, there are select amount of people that you want to tell. You don't just want to keep it to yourself, but there are select amount of people that you want to tell because one, you trust them, you feel safe with them, you have built a certain bond where sharing every and anything really is not such a big deal, and you're not going to be judged or you're not going to be criticized. More so, especially for believers, person going to be like, oh my god, congratulations, or oh, how can I pray for you, or what do you need in this moment? Like, you've built such a bond where at the end of the day, what you need is what you're going to get from them. Versus being secretive is that you don't want nobody to know. You want to be like vapor, just in the air. Like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, nobody knew. And if I'm moving, y'all gonna know when I post a picture. If I'm traveling, y'all gonna know when I post a picture. Like, nobody knows. Not even my close friends, not my family, not my parents. Nobody knows. You're being secretive, and it can be suspicious. Because, like, why you move so shaky? Why you move like say? Anna? And it's not in the sense of I don't want to tell people my business. It's more of like literally nobody knows. So nobody one can hold you accountable to anything. Nobody can say, oh yeah man, she said she was going, you know. Nobody can hold you to anything because you don't share anything with anybody. And a part of secrecy is kind of like trying to protect your own self from disappointment, from rejection, from person's opinion, kind of like living in a bubble. But that also makes way for lack of accountability. It also makes way for hyper independence, where you only depend on yourself and what you say it goes. And if anybody's trying to infiltrate a little bubble, you're gonna kind of just knock them out. So there could be underlying things for that. The second thing for me is I feel like when it comes to privacy, your trace is left. And I put it like this because I'm thinking of like a job, and privacy, again, you might not tell everybody that this happened for you, or you're working at this place, or you're doing this job, or you've ventured into this type of work experience. And but you've told certain persons, not everybody, but you've told certain persons, there are traces of where you used to be that are left, where they can say, oh, you know, so and so used to work here, and you could have felt the difference. You could have felt the improvement of where you were, of the company, of the organization, of the people you were working with. Um, though everybody did not know, your presence was still felt where you were. So for me, that's private. Secrecy is almost like you will not even know I was here. You won't even know I existed. Like, you'd be somewhere, you'd be working with people, and your presence was never felt. Like, you just come, you do what you gotta do, and you just leave. Like, there was no impact. There was nothing. There was no. You just literally came. You did your job. You did what you needed to do, and you left. There was no extra that was given. Versus being private, meaning I can be in the background. I don't have to be upfront. I don't have to be seen. But at the end of the day, my presence, my impact is going to be felt. And while everybody might not know who's the face behind some things that I did in the company, or some things that I did in the organization, or the person that I worked with, the presence and the impact of what I did was felt enough. So it goes back to point number one. Not everybody knew, but certain persons knew, and that was enough. Because at the end of the day, what you're contributing to the company, to the organization, to the people that are there, is still worthwhile. It's still something that lasts. So there was a trace of you. Versus being private. For me personally, I feel like, sorry, being secretive, I feel like for me, if you're being secretive, like, nobody knows you. Nobody can, this is another point, nobody can build anything with you. Nobody can trace that you were even there, or you were a part of this movement, organization, company, people. And lastly, I think I said three. So the third thing would be, um, when you're private, you're more intentional with your conversations, with where you go, how you go, who you go with. And um, the intentionality of what you involve yourself in is felt, is known, and is understood. And you are also very relatable. Like, people can have conversations with you without double dabbling into your personal life per se, unless you want them to be in there. I feel like the human part of you is felt, and you can extend yourself to a certain extent, but you also know boundaries. Like, you know, all right, this is not where I want to go. I don't need you to be more intrusive of my life. I'd rather not. I have clear boundaries of where and where I want you to step, or where and where I don't want you to step. Versus being secretive, you literally seem like a mystery, and not in a good way. Like, nobody knows anything about you, nobody knows what to say about you. You literally are just a name, and there's nothing else that can be said about you. Secretive to the point where building something with you is almost not impossible, but it is hard, because at the end of the day, you don't want to involve yourself with anybody. You don't want your name to be in anything, quite frankly. Like, nobody will miss you, if you get what I'm saying. Get what I'm saying. So yeah, those for me are the top three things that I would say for a general statement is secrecy versus privacy. When it comes to relationships and friendships and other things, that's a whole different ball game and a whole different conversation. Again, I'd probably do a separate video for that. Whether it's in a weekly vlog or it's a video to itself, y'all will know, because I really got some people that be writing with me and for me and sharing the videos and saying and commenting. I really, really appreciate when you guys comment, because it does something. It really makes it feel more interactive, and I'm not just talking to a screen, and I'm not just like, oh, talking to myself and recording and stuff, but it really lets me know that you're enjoying the videos, it is having some form of impact, and you're liking the content that you're seeing so far. So really and truly, thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for staying with me. I just really had to shout out you guys, because liking the video does a lot, commenting does a lot, sharing does a lot. I ain't gonna lie, and I'll share just this little bit, and then I'll move on. So I remember one time I posted a TikTok, and I was watching a friend's status and I saw my TikTok on her status. And I'm like, wait, whoa, oh my gosh. It really felt like a good feeling because I knew that persons were relating with it. It meant something to people. And, I felt like I was giving my contribution to a certain community. So I just want y'all to know that I don't just make these videos just to make these videos or just to feel like, oh, yeah, I have a YouTube channel, or oh, I'm on TikTok, and oh, I'm on Insta. No, I really, really and truly take pride in what I do. It's just for me personally, I've really, really been struggling. And if you've been following me for a long time, you know this. I've really been struggling with my consistency journey. Um, and I've been trying to find a balance every time I step into something new or step into something unfamiliar. And it has not been the easiest route for me. I am trying my utmost best to maybe take a different approach to just what consistency means and is for me and how I can operate fully and bring my best self to everything that the Lord has called me to without being mediocre or haphazardly doing things. So the step I'm taking now is really allowing God to help me with it because I've been trying to, in my opinion, do it in my own strength. I've been trying to push myself to do things even if I don't feel like doing it, which is a form of consistency and it does help. But there's also an underlying factor that I need to take up with Jesus. Like I need to find out what's going on, and hopefully this new approach will change something and you guys will be able to see the testament of that. So I shared that just to let you guys know that I really do appreciate you guys watching and I do appreciate you guys supporting and even just staying with me even on or in my most inconsistent times and stuff like that. So thank you for listening. Comment below what your thoughts are about secrecy and privacy, and if you disagreed with some of the things I said, if you have something to add to it or you have a different perspective, I'd love to hear it in the comment section. Okay? Bye.